Welcome back to Hollywood on the Green. Today we're going to count down our top 10 TV series so far this year in 2023. Most of these shows have scored Emmy nominations, and many of them are in season 2 or 4 or 5. But if you haven't caught them, it's kind of nice because there's a lot of seasons stacked up for you to get through. Yes, you've probably heard of most of these picks, but we do rank them and we zero in on why they're our favorites. And we do mix in a few you probably haven't heard of. And we'll start with one of those, with Dave. Dave centers on an erotic man in his late 20s who's convinced himself that he's destined to be one of the best rappers of all time. This show is like nothing else on TV, a creative voice with a wacky sense of humor, but with a heart. You can see Dave on FX or Hulu. Number 9, Mrs. Davis. After being ousted from her convent, Sister Simone vows to destroy the one responsible, a powerful artificial intelligence known as Mrs. Davis. To exact her revenge, Simone makes a deal with an algorithm and is thrust into a dangerous world of secret societies, religious conspiracies, and age-old legends as she searches for the whereabouts of the most cliched and overused MacGuffin, the Holy Grail. An imaginative wild ride with creative set pieces and plenty of bold ideas to ponder. You could see Miss Davis on Peacock. Number 8, Silo. In a ruined and toxic future, a community exists in a giant underground silo that plunges hundreds of stories deep. There, people live in a society full of regulations they believe are meant to protect them. A sci-fi series with plenty of social commentary and cinematic production value, Silo also has a strong cast contributing its colorful characters. You can see Silo on Apple+. Number 7, Poker Face. Mystery of the Week series following Charlie Cale, who has an extraordinary ability to determine when someone is lying. She hits the road in her Plymouth Barracuda, and with every stop encounters a new cast of characters and strange crimes she can't help but solve. A playful and cool vintage feel to this fantasy comedy, anchored by a strong leading lady who always manages to connect with her diverse cast of supporting players. You can see Poker Face on Peacock. Number 6, Last of Us. 20 years after a fungal outbreak ravages the planet, survivors Joel and Tess are tasked with a mission that could change everything. One of the best video game adaptations we've ever seen, with great special effects we'd come to expect. This series goes well beyond its gaming fan base, in part due to the emotional connection between the two lead characters. You could see Last of Us on Max. Number 5, Season 4 of Barry. In prison now for the murder of Janice Moss, Barry finds himself alone. The acting teacher he was trying to protect has helped the police apprehend him, and his girlfriend Sally calls him a liar and refuses to speak to him. Smartly directed by lead Bill Hader, Barry succeeds in being a twisted, dark comedy that somehow manages to keep the surprises coming. You could see Barry on Max. Number 4, The Diplomat. Amid an international crisis, a career diplomat juggles her new high-profile job as ambassador to the United Kingdom and her turbulent marriage to a political star. A story centered on the challenges for this female ambassador is elevated by the writing, juicy espionage, and hilarious verbal sparring between our two leads. You can see The Diplomat on Netflix. Number 3, Succession. Like Barry in its final season. Although he has no plans to step aside as the head of the Waystar Royco, the international media conglomerate controlled by his family aging patriarch Logan Roy is contemplating what the future holds. One of the most successful shows on television in the last few years, this is yet another masterclass in dialogue and performance. Number 2, Beef. Two strangers get into a road rage incident that brings chaos to their lives. A twisted, dark drama with standout performances, this has got to be one of the best explorations of obsession we've ever seen. You could see Beef on Netflix. Number 1, The Bear. A young chef from the fine dining world comes home to Chicago to run his family's sandwich shop after a heartbreaking death in his family. In season 2, faced with the reality of the new restaurant opening, the team must come up with a plan. But the financial problems are bigger than they expected, and Carmy has to make a risky decision. Yes, it's sometimes about food, but the show really works on the fringes of the restaurant as we dig deeper into these excellent, flawed human characters. And that's a wrap on our countdown of the top 10 TV series of 2023 so far. Thanks for joining us. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. And you'll get more of our top 10 lists and our videos where we go behind the scenes of Hollywood movies and independent festival darlings. And visit our Substack pages for the Cause Cinema Spotlight, where we do articles and weekly picks. Until the next one, you take care.